Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I'm the founder of GSD and a serial entrepreneur. I've been involved in 17 startups and several unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And with that, I'd like to bring our amazing guest. So Irène is a serial entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, a TEDx presenter. I mean, on and on and on. BMW, ex-BMW, Siemens, Deloitte. She lives in Munich, Bavaria, Germany. She is incredible in terms of startups and has been involved. I got to say, I mean, she's got the most fascinating LinkedIn profile. I just printed it out a little bit ago. It was 23 pages. She also has a doctorate. She went to the University of Bremen and has a doctorate in economics and social sciences. She went to the University of Warwick. She got a master's degree in supply chain and supply chain management, a doctor of philosophy in supply chain, and also she is a coach trainer. With that, I'd like to bring her on. So hello, how are you?
Hello, Gary.
Yes,
great.
What's happening in Germany these days?
Oh my goodness, a lot going on. Lots of events, lots of conferences, because I feel like people are enjoying their times again after the pandemic situation.
So tell me about it. How in the world, first of all, what made you decide to get a doctorate?
How I got my doctorate?
Yeah, why? Why did
Why?
you decide to say,
okay, in fact, to be honest, actually, I wanted to pursue a scientific career, academic career. But then eventually I turned out to go into industry, started working at BMW, but never forgot about my initial intention. So I started giving lectures at different universities in Germany, in Austria. And then I decided to pursue my PhD again, but I did it alongside my full-time job while I was at BMW, which was pretty tough.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, do you have two PhDs? Because it's got one for Bremen and then Erlangen, Nuremberg, a PhD. Do you have two PhDs?
No, I only have one. I started in Nuremberg and then went on in Bremen. That's the reason.
I got it. Okay, got it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I thought we are going to have to call you Doctor now,
Oh, my God. My mom said, stop it now. No more academic titles.
Was it really hard while you were at BMW to get your doctorate?
It was pretty tough, because I was working full time. I've been always side hustling, like entering the startup scene in the German speaking area. And then also doing my PhD on top was pretty intense. I had to make lots of sacrifices, to be honest, and if people ask me if I would do it again, probably not. I would already start building companies.
So I have a question for you. You worked at Pioneer Electronics.
Oh, that was in the past.
Promotion and support and marketing. Now, I'm just curious. So you were promotional sales and marketing and car entertainment. So you were a student then at the time you were working at Pioneer?
Yes. I always supported them during exhibitions, conferences, etc., promoting their products and helping out with marketing strategies and so on, because they felt that I was somehow talented to do so.
That's great. And did you enjoy it?
Absolutely. It was some sort of starting point, right? To see like, okay, I'm really into everything that is very technical, very innovative. And at the same time, like also being public, like at conferences, talking to people, building relationships, because this is also of major importance, right? If you want to try to sell products out there and everything that is related to new technologies really excited me. So I learned where I want to go in the future.
That's interesting because I remember Blaupunkt I don't know. You remember Blaupunkt and Alpine?
Blaupunkt. Oh,
Yeah,
yes. You
Blaupunkt.
remember it. How do you
They
know?
were amazing systems. I don't know what happened to them, but I love the Blue Point. Right? Isn't Blaupunkt Blue Point in German? But they were amazing, amazing car stereos at the time. So
Yes, absolutely. Also, Pioneer did this amazing flat screens, but now they're not producing them anymore.
huh. Wonder why that is. Interesting. So you went to Amazon. What made you decide to go to Amazon and vendor management?
Actually, when I finished my studies, it was pretty much by the end of the financial crisis. And I was, in fact, looking for a job in the area of vendor management, procurement, supply chain management, logistics. And this sounded like something exciting where I could bring all my competencies and all my interests together in one position. So that's the reason why.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, absolutely. It was something totally different for me to work for an American company because in the past I used to work a lot for German companies. I think also one Dutch company and of course Pioneer Japanese company. And it was a totally different organizational culture for me.
What's the difference between the American culture and the German culture in business?
Totally performance focused. You have to perform from day one. You don't have this, so to say, time span where you can onboard and familiarize with your new duties and responsibilities. You have to perform really high performing culture. And it felt as if everyone was very high potential, you know? So this is the first thing that I noticed, of course. And there was no limitation how long you work. For example, in Germany, it's pretty common that you say it's 5 o'clock and I'm leaving now, right?
Really?
Yes. Most traditional German companies, but at Amazon and other American companies I experienced, there's no such way. You can work until 8, 9. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Really interesting. So it sounds
Yeah.
like working for the German company is better in terms of quality of life.
You never know, right? There are many differences in there.
Interesting. So then you worked with a project strategic procurement for local China content. What was that about? So you did, you were working for BMW, right? In the
Yes.
BMW 5 Series. How was that?
It was amazing. I just started, I was mid-20, and the next older colleague was 43. So we had a difference of 18 years. So I was the youngest. And of course, at the beginning, I faced some prejudices. They always said, like, oh, you're so young, it's dynamic, full of energy. Of course, you think you can change the world, but just do it a couple of years, it will change, right? However, my main role working at China localization was maybe for the audience to better understand the context. In China, when people drive a BMW, they don't drive it themselves. They have a chauffeur. So they're sitting at the back. So those cars are a bit longer than the traditional models that we sell here in Germany.
Really? No, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
Even in the 5 Series, they're longer?
Yes. The 3 Series, the 5 Series are longer, much longer. Even the 7 Series. And I was responsible for the 5 Series.
That's really interesting. So now you stayed there 5 years. Did they give you a deal on a BMW?
No, unfortunately not. Maybe I should have better negotiated.
I was going to say, because the U.S. car companies, a lot of times they give their employees really good deals.
Mm-hmm.
So you
no, that has changed. That's in fact, when I started, I got the new contracts. We don't have the contracts that people used to have 20, 30 years ago, And the interesting thing is, for example, you also have like 35 hours contracts, right? At BMW. And it can also happen for people who started there long time ago, that once they can't get higher salaries anymore, they reduce their weekly hours. So there were people who only needed to work 28 hours because they already reached the salary limit. So they had a very good work-life balance.
Oh my God, that's great. I love it.
It didn't apply for our new contracts, right? So,
Wow. So you could be a BMW, work 28 hours a week, and that's it. 4 days, and you can have the rest of the time off.
Yes, yes, definitely. So did many people, right? So they only worked like 3.5 days a week or so. But in fact, those were people with the contracts from 20, 30 years ago.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that. So, as you fast forward, you went over to Siemens. You spent 1 year there as a senior consultant. So not a
Mhm.
lot of time, but then you went to Deloitte. So what made you decide to go into consulting? You went into strategy and operations. What made you decide to do that?
Yes, in fact, because I noticed that I want to work more strategically, I want to implement new initiatives. I want to have an impact, right? And with the job that I did beforehand, it wasn't possible, because everything was slow, and we didn't have such a open culture for innovation. Nowadays, it has changed definitely, but at my time, it was pretty tough. You were always fighting, to get concepts and new strategies through, because
Mhm.
of course you had people, which is pretty common in German companies, that you have people serving there for decades, and they're really reluctant to change things, and want to keep their work-life balance. So I saw it as an opportunity because I've been working at different projects with consultants together. And I thought, oh, that might be potentially something for me as well. So that's why I went to in-house consulting, and there I noticed that it's pretty much the same as if you were just performing normal activity, because in-house consultancy is totally different to being an external consultant, because they still consider you as one of their colleagues, so it's very difficult for you still to make some changes. That's what I noticed when I worked at Deloitte, because I had major projects, for example, for the European Central Bank, or for investment companies, and it was a total different experience for me, but very exciting, I have to say.
Interesting. So then you went to Faster Capital. What made you decide? So you go over, helping startups get up and running, but what made you decide to go over to Faster Capital? So you're regional partner in business startup consultant.
Mhm.
What made you decide to do that?
Actually, I wasn't employed there. It was one of my side hustles. I was there on a contractual basis, like a partner. As you know, for example, also for Startup Network, I'm not employed there, but I do it alongside my actual activities. Um, so in fact, they approached me, because at that time I started entering the startups ecosystem in Germany, and then they were looking for a strong partner in Germany, and that's why I said yes. Why not? Just give it a try, right? So at that time, I was also already working as an expert advisor for the European Innovation Council, etc., which was also very, very exciting.
Hmm.
And because when actually I applied there, and they asked for many different requirements, and I didn't fulfill, I think, 80%, only 20%, but I still
Hmm.
applied, which is pretty much of a difference between me and other female entrepreneurs out there, because when they see like, oh, I can only reach 20%, no way I'm going to apply. And then I said, like, no, actually, I want to do it. I have a passion for it. I don't care. One requirement was, for example, I needed at least 12 up till 15 years of experience, and I only had like 6 or 7. I still applied,
Hmm. Wow.
and they asked to be in the startup ecosystem already like at least 10 years. And I was just like 1 or 2 years, but I didn't care. I just applied.
And you got it.
Yeah.
And you got it. That's amazing. So then you did that. And now, why in the world did you want to go to, you went to Bits and Pretzels, you did that for startup events, but the Global Business College, what made you decide to become a lecturer?
Oh, I already started being a lecturer while I was at BMW. I started at the University of Munich, Applied Science. And it was pretty funny because I was below 30 when I did it, and I didn't have a PhD, because most of the universities in Germany asked you to have a PhD. And most of the time, I don't know, you're mid-30 when you start doing it, right?
Mhm.
And I also got an MBA module, which is also quite exceptional, you know. So again, here I didn't I didn't fulfill the requirements, but still they took me because I had a trial lecture in front of, I think there were 3 professors, and there was a class with students, and they all voted for me. So they said like, amazing, exciting. So do it, right? And then people came up to me and said like, oh, you've been already lecturing, you received great evaluations. People kept recommending me as well. Most of the things I'm doing right now is because people from my network recommended me at the end of the day. So the good thing is always like to have the first foot somewhere, and then when you're good at something and people perceive you as being competent and professional, more and more assignments will come to you.
Wow,
That's
that's
what I
great.
experienced, in fact.
So then you became a Munich University of Applied Sciences lecturer too.
Yes, also in Salzburg, other cities in Germany that people might probably not know, but that's the way it went.
Well, it sounds like you're pretty active. You were at LinkedIn Local doing community events.
Yeah, we are the first ones, by the way.
Really?
Many times I've been the first one. It's pretty exciting. I don't know, but I think I was also the first Black female working at BMW, not as a secretary.
Wow, that's great. Well,
And
congratulations.
being an engineer. And here again, I was also the first one
Wow, that's incredible.
doing this in the German speaking area. In fact, yes, it started, I think, in the UK, in the US, and then we said we got to do it also for the German speaking area. And so, since I live in Munich and it's the headquarter of the GSA region, yes, I teamed up with a partner, and then we started doing these local events, supported also by the managing director of the GSA region at that
So,
time.
I mean, you seem really, really busy. So, what do you do for fun?
What I do for fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I love meeting my friends, going out, having a nice dinner, and I love to travel, and I travel a lot. But unfortunately, I don't have so much time to always walk around and see a bit of culture. I love architecture. Um, I love working around my home, like decorating it. Yes, working on furniture, processing furniture. I love that. I
Mhm.
also enjoy cooking. I love cooking for friends. And what I can't do is to cook small portions. It always gets big and big and big and large because I grew up. I was the eldest in of my siblings in my family, and so I'm only used to cook for a lot of people. You know, so when I
Wow,
try to
that's
cook
cool.
for 1 or 2 people, it's always a lot. So I call up people, say like, I still have lots of food, and they all come over and eat with
Now, do you
me.
cook German food, or what kind of food do you like to cook?
Um, Actually, I like to try out lots of things, but my
Uh-huh.
favorite dish would be African and Asian. And sometimes I just try to mix it up, you know? I'm very creative cooking. I don't cook by recipes. Many people say like, yeah, I'm gifted in cooking because I'm just trying out stuff. And sometimes when I go somewhere and eat something, I can tell you how it has been cooked.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're like an inside cooker. And, um, so tell me a little bit about what's happened in the German startup ecosystem today, and specifically in Munich. I mean, do you see companies starting to, since we're coming through COVID, do you see more companies now? What's happening with the ecosystem?
Yes, absolutely. Munich is progressing, and some people are even yes, assuming that it might take over Berlin, because people are saying like, okay, Berlin was pretty much B2C focused, and most of the business models are already out there. So more startups are trying to go to Munich because here is the B2B industry. Most of the large corporations are here. Even the ones from the US who have their headquarters, German headquarters or European headquarters in Munich. And it's pretty exciting to see how it's flourishing. And of course, we live in Bavaria. It's the richest state in Germany. They are putting lots of investment, lots of money into the Bavarian ecosystem. So it's pretty much growing, right? And we can already see Munich being among top 10 of the startup ecosystems in Europe, which is a great advancement.
No, that's great. No, I love it. Actually, James Mister, who's one of the Bavarian representatives in the U.S., American actually,
Yeah.
and I've spoken at a number of his events. It's just incredible what's happening in Bavaria.
Yes, absolutely. And what I really, really like about the German ecosystem, they are strongly trying to promote diversity here, which is pretty important, maybe for you to know, I don't know how it is in US, maybe you can tell me, but we currently have only 16% female founders and only 8% female investors, right? I don't know if you can recall the event that I started in cooperation with Startup Network and Svenja Larsen from formerly known as Prime Crowd. This hashtag 25 to 25 with the aim of increasing the number of female entrepreneurs and founders from 16% to 25% by 2025, and it's very amazing to see that many people out there have been following this hashtag. We even have the Female Business Angel Association in Germany who follow this hashtag, and many other successful entrepreneurs, and the support system is pretty good, but I think it's only the starting point, because right now we're focusing on gender diversity, but there are also many other diversity dimensions to consider. For example, I'm strongly also promoting with Joint Generations the age factor. I've been visiting Bertelsmann Stiftung. It's one of the largest foundations we have here in Germany. And we've been talking about what kind of relevance your age has when you want to start a business, right? You might be perceived as too young to be able to take on responsibility or to make the right decisions. And then on the other hand side, you might be perceived as too old and maybe not potentially be able to repay your credits and so on. There's so many stereotypes and prejudices around age, for example. And then next we have, of course, the cultural background. And I've recently read a study where they said that I think nearly 80% of founders are Caucasian,
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's, we have about a third of our companies are from Africa today in GSD, the current cohort. And we're finding, I mean, there's 1.4 billion people in 54 countries, and places like Nigeria that have 260, 255 million people. I mean, that's a burgeoning economy, and people, you got to go where other people don't go. So you go to Kenya,
Absolutely.
Namibia, Zambia, Ghana. I'm just talking about where we have companies.
Congo.
Congo. I mean, all over. I mean, the situation is, and it's really interesting too, because a lot of the founders have repatriated back, but they've gone to Stanford or Harvard or MIT or Oxford. Haven't seen many from Germany, but I've seen them come. One actually, I've seen them come back to the home countries because there's so much opportunity that's untapped. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And and the other thing is, you're right. We say intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities are not. It depends on the cohort. Anywhere from 30 to 40% are female entrepreneurs, but we need to have more of them come out. They need to also get out and get into the ecosystem, which you're doing. And I'm really, proud of it. The other thing is we got to work together. I mean, we have so many challenges on this planet today: war, 200 active conflicts around the world. And we all know what's happening in the Ukraine. We got to figure out how to work together to solve these complex problems: global warming, climate situation. We've got to look at population increase from 8.1 billion to 13 billion by the end of the century. We got to look at, we can't even get a roll of toilet paper during the pandemic. And yet we have quantum computers. What's wrong with that picture? The supply chain's broken. We
Mm,
get an insight. At the same time, we've got 6 billion Earth-like planets in the Milky Way galaxy, estimated 2.2 trillion galaxies in the universe. We got a lot of exploring to do, and we need to figure out how to work together instead of, how to try to always, get into the middle of situations and create adversity. We got to figure out how to work together, and we have to do it. It's not like we have a choice. By 2050, we got to double the food supply to feed everybody, and we can't increase the number of
mm,
cows because 26% of the pollution is methane gas from cattle. Like,
right.
okay, let's work on plant-based protein. This is, I'm not listen, I grew up on a farm in Pennsylvania. So on the farm in Pennsylvania, we had simple rules: milk cows, detassel corn, get up early in the morning, work hard, those kind of things. And
Mm,
we need to figure out how to work together, how to help people to be able to feed their families. And
mm,
if you can feed your family, you're not as likely to go, in my opinion, to go to places like Boko Haram or ISIS because you're taking care of your family. Let's work together. It's not easy,
mm,
right? We're only here one time, right? Let's go down through most religions. We believe that, but we need to go down through and figure out how to make this help each other. And if we help each other, everybody lives better. You're able to meet with your family, take care of your family, take care of your friends, and let's do that. Let's make the world a better place.
that would be awesome, right? That nobody's excluded, because we can only make our future work if everyone is part of it, no matter what age, what gender, what cultural background, what social background, whatsoever. This is so, so important.
I
Yeah.
agree. So what you're doing is incredible, and we're fully supportive of what you're doing. Listen, we're coming up to the top of the hour. I want to find out, Lo, tell us what you're working on today, and for our audience out there, how they might be able to get involved in it.
Oh, there's a lot going on right now. Pretty much at the end of the year, we are here right now. So at the moment, I'm supporting several startups in their branding, in their marketing strategy, in particular in the social impact area, because I have a passion for that. Um, and then also, yeah, I'm also in the advisory and probably also potentially in the next couple of weeks in the supervisory board of a scale up that is doing amazing things, like to I can't say so much, however, but it has to do with representing the underrepresented and bringing them forward. And those are things that I really like doing, because in the past I was always happy when I work with corporates together, for example, right? Like educating them in corporate influencer strategy, like showing them how to turn their employees into value and brand ambassadors of the company. But it wasn't enough for me, because I said, like, oh, I have this great network. I'm a relationship builder, and I've learned a lot through my time being at corporates, working for associations, working at university in research, and so on. And I should be doing something that has an impact, right? Like to support society to progress further. And what I'm also doing, of course, because I have myself an African background, that I should also try to help build up the African ecosystem. And that's what I'm heading towards, to step by step. And, sometimes in life it happens, like when you come up with an idea, then people will approach you, the right resources, the right opportunities approach you. So there are many different opportunities arising right now. So still, because I cannot split myself into many parts, I have to make my judgments and say, like, okay, what do I want to get involved into, and where I can't, due to my limited capacities, of course.
No, well, it sounds like you've got a lot of things going on, and it's great you're supporting the ecosystem. It's great you're working with impact, and it's great to be able to make this world a better place by bringing female entrepreneurs and the disadvantaged together, because that's where the real growth is. So,
Mhm.
how do people reach you? So, if they want to get, is it LinkedIn, Facebook? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Of course, the best way they can reach me on Instagram and Facebook, but LinkedIn is my number one platform where I'm the most active because still I'm operating in the B2B sector. So LinkedIn might be the best
All
way to
right,
reach.
sounds good. Listen, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. It's always great to see you, and
Thank
I
you so much. It's
thank
been,
you.
yeah.
So thank you, and to my audience out there, thank you for joining one more time. GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech, and my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. I'll be back for another exciting edition next Tuesday. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. I'll see you soon. Thanks again. I really appreciate your time. Take care, everybody. See you next week.